Reminder that trans women like me are trans women even if we like and prefer masculine things.
Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. I bet you liked that last reaction I did. I say it all the time, I can't believe we're still here. So, before I move forward, thanks again so much for helping grow this channel and help me bring this stuff to the forefront. And it's hard being an old trampa. Let me tell you, I have to deal with this. I never in a million years would think the trans community would turn into this insanity. So with that, I found a couple funny. I find them funny, but also, I just find it so insane that we're having this conversation. So this first one, this person's been around for a while and spews such nonsense and such stuff that makes zero sense. No wonder people don't like us. I mean, you're not making any sense when you say stuff like this. So here we go.
A lot of people ask me, what's the difference between being transgender and non-binary? Simply put, transgender refers to people who don't identify with the gender they were assigned at birth, and non-binary refers to people who don't exclusively identify as a man or woman. But let's break this down further. When we were born, we were most likely assigned a gender identity based on our visible genitalia and assumed sex. Many people grow up and continue to identify with the gender that they were assigned at birth. The term for this is cisgender. Don't worry, it's not a slur or derogatory term, just a term to describe what everyone is assumed to be, either a cisgender man or cisgender woman. But there are also many people who grow up and, at any age, realize that the gender they were assigned at birth isn't for them. The term for this is transgender. Examples include trans women and trans men, and one's transition could be social, medical, legal, or spiritual. We also live in a time when people are realizing that gender isn't strictly binary, meaning that gender identities are not just limited to men and women. The umbrella term for identities that exist between and beyond the gender binary is non-binary. Examples include gender fluid, agender, demigender, and genderqueer. Although there can be overlap.
Who are you? And how are you schooling us all on what it means to be a man or a woman? Just because you're dressed like a woman with a beard doesn't mean you know what's going on. First off, cisgender has become a slur. Just so you know, my friend. It's so funny how you all are making up this language that we're all supposed to follow, or else we're bad people. That, my friend, is not inclusive. When you force words on people to use because it makes you feel more comfortable or whatever, that's not inclusive, by the way. Secondly, non-binary has been around forever. It's not new. You didn't invent it. It's basically androgyny. It's basically genderqueer. It's basically been around forever. It's not new. It's basically somebody who just wants to present in a way that isn't male or female. Who cares? The bottom line is this, and this is why I'm getting so tired of this stuff. You cannot be trans, okay, without understanding your biology. And your biology has never been assigned. That, again, I'm going to keep telling you, is a word and a space that has been co-opted by you in the non-binary and the transgender community from the intersex world. I keep telling you that. The only reason somebody would be assigned a sex at birth is because ambiguous genitalia. You and I were not born that way. You can clearly see what my genitals are. I was clearly born female. It is the reason I'm a transsexual. It's getting so boring and it's getting so exhausting having to actually school you all when you're doing these weird cartoony things about what it means to be, what it means to be. No. Let me just break it down to you. It's real simple. Man, woman. Simple. You are born male, female. Simple. There might be a time when all of a sudden you have something called gender dysphoria, which is very rare, and then you decide, I feel better if I can just present as a man, hence me. I was born female, I'm still female, but I feel more comfortable walking the world looking like a dude. I did not change my sex. My sex was not assigned. It is why I'm a transsexual. Period. Okay, now let's move on to this one. I found it to be quite hilarious because I don't really even get it. But I'm just going to play it because this is how absurd everything is. It's absurd.
Daily reminder that trans women like me are trans women even if we like and prefer masculine things. Because we don't become trans, it's already a part of who we are.
Okay, like, I feel bad making fun of this person, but sorry, you put this out on the internet. What? How are you a trans woman? How? I want to even know how. This is the absurdity of it. This person isn't even making any, it's just bizarre to me. They're not making any effort to look like a woman. Yet they want to be called a trans woman. Yet they want to be a trans woman. Yet there they are, just looking like a dude and expecting everybody to fall over backwards for probably their pronouns and the fact that they think that they are a trans woman. This is the insanity of it all. The insanity of it all. Self-ID started all of this, by the way. This one I find very fascinating, and it is just the most absurd stuff coming out of this person's mouth. So
I want to make it clear that the compliment, "I had no idea you were trans," is rooted in transphobia. Yeah. Just ask yourself, why is this person's transness something they should be happy that I didn't perceive? It's kind of like it gets handed to you on a silver platter. Like yeah. And it sucks because, like, for a lot of us, even if we've unpacked all this stuff, like, it still feels good to hear. But I think collectively we need to find better compliments and unpack the ones we give to trans people as non-trans people, or even as trans people ourselves. And then always take into account the fact that some trans people do not give a shit about passing. So is your compliment even relevant to them? Continue to uplift and compliment trans people. Just find better ways of doing it. We appreciate you.
oh my God, that one just blows my mind. First off, all that weird language, unpack, you unpack, friend. What are you talking about? You can't just come in this community and start to rearrange the furniture and say you don't like the way the house looks. No, you don't get to do that. The bottom line is we've already established what it means to be trans. Trans people want to pass. I don't know what you're doing, friend, but trans people want to pass as a man or a woman. So it is a compliment when you say to me, wow, dude, I never would have known you used to be a female. That is that's the highest compliment you can get. Maybe you're not getting the compliment, so now all of a sudden you're mad because passing is the ultimate goal for a trans person. It is, whether you like it or not. You don't have to pass if you don't want to, but don't get mad when you don't get compliments, and also stop saying it's not a compliment. It might not be a compliment for you, but every single transsexual person I know, that is the most awesomest compliment you can get from anyone. So I'm going to suggest that you unpack your own bias about what you think trans is, and you go right ahead and don't deal with the compliments that you probably never get. And so now you got to change the whole game so that maybe you will get a compliment, which I don't know what that compliment would be, by the way. Just stop, people. Stop coming into our community and trying to literally destroy it because you don't like it, what it is. Create a different community. Create a different word. Create a different idea of what trans is and call it something else. Because we're sick and tired of this. And you know what? I live for those compliments, by the way. You think I did all this work so nobody would compliment me? Are you kidding me? Like, it's the number one most amazing thing I can hear in my brain when someone says, wow, Buck, I would have never known. So with that, everybody, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much again for subscribing and liking. I appreciate you all so much, and I'll see you guys all on the next one.